Hey there, Taurus. Thank you so much for joining me here today. My name is Halen. I have a confession to make. I recorded your reading earlier, and it was a full reading with an extended and everything. And when it came to the feeling in my body, when I was going to make it public and post it, I couldn't bring myself to do it. The message was so filled with shadow. It was harsh. It reminded me a lot of this Pisces reading I did called The Reading No One Wants to Hear, and it was a couple weeks ago or something. And I just couldn't do it to you. I couldn't do it to you. And your message, I pulled new cards tonight, and your message is actually the same, but it feels like it's more easily palatable. I am noticing that you're basically having a breakthrough when it comes to like a vision or a dream or a fantasy, a romantic partnership, a promise. And it might not be as promised. And I do still have that message here. So no, this is not your typical toxic tarot reading. And in fact, where we start this reading, I titled your initial reading that I'm not going to share it, the toxic side of spirituality. And it's showing up here in your spread still to me. There's this blatant thief, right? This liar, this dark energy. It's negative. It's stealing something in the night. The crows are trying to alert you, but you are like blissed out. It's like, it's a weird way to put it, but it's really like their actions don't match their words, because this is speaking to me about integrity, and it's like this person or this energy has none, but I don't even know if this is a person, because what was showing up in the first reading was, it was kind of talking to me about the toxicity of spirituality, where it turns into spiritual bypassing and it goes too far. And it makes me think about the tarot community. I'm stuttering, I'm sorry, it's night and I've been up all day. It makes me think of the tarot community and how they can almost like bait people, right? People are seeking out tarot readings because they're in an emotionally vulnerable state. And this is like the bait where it's like they'll pull you in, and it lacks this integrity where it's like you're in this blissed out state because something's going on here where it tells you, like a reading or a fantasy or a vision or something, I don't know, it tells you everything you want to hear. But I don't think this is healthy. It makes me think about tarot readings or like seeing a reader or I don't know. Imagine you go see a therapist and they're like, oh, your life's gonna be amazing, like don't you worry, everything you want is coming true and then some, like as if there's, right? It's like it's just so easy, like all this grace is just handed to you, and you might even be listening to someone else above you as like a teacher or a guide, or maybe this is an archetype in your own psyche that you speak to, or this vision, I don't know, that's telling you everything that you want to see and hear. Because notice that the puzzle piece on this fragmented energy card, it is fitting into her eye, but notice that the heart is this gaping hole. And that's what I feel like Spirit is trying to talk to you about with this squawking crow. It's like, hey Taurus, I'm trying to alert you that even though you are in this blissed out state, feeling like, oh yes, everything's going to be, this was in your past position, by the way. It's not in your current energy. This was in your past position. Should have said that 4 minutes ago. It's like, you look like, yes, everything's going to be coming to me. This is so great because Spirit's told me so. Everything is, going to my vision or my higher plan. It's like this fantasy made into reality. And that's where the spiritual path can, I think, mislead us, because it can start to reflect to us, like with reality being our mirror, everything that we want to see and reinforce a belief that is not necessarily true. And I think this can be very much about twin flame dynamics, because again, if you notice that this individual here is stealing something, right? There's not a lot of impeccability. It's like it can constantly tell you, oh, well, you know, this person is meant for you. And it literally is making me think of this documentary called Escaping Twin Flames, where they convinced this poor young girl, it was like a cult, and there are all these twin flames coming together to bring heaven to earth, and which is just one of those things, and one of those things that baits people, and it's a dangerous fantasy, it's a dangerous belief. And they convinced her that her twin flame was this person who was severely mentally ill. And they kept telling her, right, like, oh, well, this is your twin flame, so you have to be with them. And it was kind of like, well, okay. And it's like, you can start to notice things in your reality, or even maybe with the people you're surrounding yourself with, like if these are the leaders of the twin flames cult that I'm talking about, right, where it's like, oh, well, they're telling me that this is all going to happen and that it's all perfect, and everything I want to see and hear that fits my mind's belief of something, but my heart is sitting here with this big gaping hole. And of course the girl speaks now and is like, oh my gosh, that was, you know, really awful what happened to me. But at the time she just didn't see it because she was drinking the Kool-Aid. It's like, don't drink the Kool-Aid, Taurus. That kind of thing. So that's in your past position. There was this, something like played on your vulnerability. In a way, I feel like it almost gave you a mental high, the way that this card looks, where it's so blissed out. It's like when spirituality gets so blissed out and those new age communities are just, you know, like, oh my God, we're gonna leave the planet tomorrow and blip off into fairyland and become alien light bodies, and it's all perfect. And it's like, what are you actually running away from? Like, what are you wanting to escape from? Because your mind is a very fickle thing, and it can convince you of so much. It's amazing. This came up in the prior reading, but I've been watching a lot of Mount Everest documentaries because I'm fascinated that human beings will willingly subject themselves to very, very high odds of dying in order to achieve something that their mind is just absolutely 100% set on. You know what I mean? Like, human beings are not supposed to be up there. And I remember in this documentary I watched, this man had a wife and a 7-month-old baby, and he went to go climb Everest, and a storm came and he died. And it was just like, wow, you know, psychologically speaking, whether it's Mount Everest, you know, this person here on top of the mountain, which is the ultimate dream, or maybe it's these beliefs that are given to us by a religion, a religious leader, a cult leader, or someone above us, a parent, whatever it is, our own visions that we've come to have reinforced around us through reality mirroring our thoughts. But sometimes it's not always 100% fact, and it's amazing how the mind, with its beliefs, how many times has that led to death? It's countless, right, in human history. You'd think that this organ would serve us to help us survive, and it does much of the time, but also much of the time it leads to our undoing, because we can cling to something, and it's almost like this way, again, to spiritually bypass or just distract in a way, again, in your past position. And I think, I know I've fallen privy to this. I think we all have. It's kind of like a very elaborate way of saying it's a very elaborate way of describing when you're in a relationship with someone that you are so enamored with, who doesn't treat you well, or who really doesn't want anything to do with your actual self and your actual heart and your actual feelings. And it's like you can convince yourself to see the beauty in this person when in actuality they have anything but this impeccability or this integrity. You know what I mean? But it's like your emotions don't match what you're actually, what's actually going on here. it's wild. So there's a falsity, and I feel like it's got something to do with the belief, and it's kind of saying to me, in the past you were seeing what you wanted to see, not necessarily what you needed to feel or hear. You know, it's that kind of thing. I don't know, but that's your past. So the current energy shows, well, I mean, I've got to be honest, this is not an easy reading, and it was not an easy reading in the beginning, the first one I did, but at least my energy is a lot less freaky. I felt like I was just so dark in the first one, so preachy. I already am now too. Whatever. I can't help it. I don't know. Okay, so this shows there is an energy outside of you, or it's spirits. Making me think of the squawking crow trying to get your attention of like, hey Taurus, you've been like, you know, like something is actually draining you. It's not feeding you like you believe it is. Like climbing Mount Everest just actually like harms a lot of people. That's a bad example because I'm amazed with people who do that. Okay, I'm not trying to shit talk it, but notice how this figure, which I feel is you're looking off to the side, like I'm in control. I don't know, like she's kind of like, I still have this goal. It's aiming towards the past. She's like looking off to the side, like, no, I know what I know. I know what my vision is. I see what I see. It almost feels like there's an energy that comes in that is honest and true, or a truth here that you are needing that would give your heart peace. And at first, you're showing like this resistance to it of like, no, right? Still hung up on the belief that is over here. Maybe it's about this person and it's like, no, I really think that they are one for me, or no, I really think that this job is right for me, or this vision's gonna come true, or this leader really does have my best interest at heart, or whatever. But there's this energy that starts to stare at you right in the face, and it's talking to me about being two-faced, or the two-faced, because my son was talking to me about the first Harry Potter book. He just finished it today. He's very proud of himself. And Voldemort, it's like the dark twin, ends up being on the back of this professor's head or something. So I was thinking about that, about how it's like you are facing head on what you start off sort of looking away from, because it's coming at you whether you like it or not. And what's coming towards you here quickly is, again, this two-faced, or this dark side of something. Again, like the toxic side of spirituality, or really what it is it's like the dark side, or the toxic side, the controlling side of some kind of attachment that you had that ended up having a power over you. It's like a belief ends up having power over you, kind of like getting addicted to tarot readings, you know, or whatever it might be. It's tricky, but I see that it's catching up to you, and you are looking right at it now, like, okay, I guess I have to face what's being shown to me here, even if you don't believe it at first, because it's almost like something here to me feels like, even if it's an unhealthy attachment to someone whose potential you see and they never actually follow through, it's like it ends up kind of like taking over your life, you know, in an unhealthy way. Or like, you know, Escaping Twin Flames, the cult of that documentary, and it's like really hard to be met with the truth, the shadow truth of the belief you've held for the last 3 years with this group of people, whatever it is, right? Where it's like, oh my God, I can see the actual dynamic of what's going on here, which is like these creatures, one of them is you, has been in chains. And it could be an aspect of your own psyche. It doesn't need to be an energy outside of you. This actually could be an energy outside of you as well. But it's like, wow, this is really coming in. I actually wanted to read this as the night of transformation. So a truth the truth that was wanting to be shown to you by spirit here with the squawking crow is now something that you're having to really look at head on. I don't know, in the current energy, it's not showing me if you fully believe in it yet. I think that you're probably seeing it very clearly and you're like, wow, this, I just heard that song, you really got a hold on me. It's like that really had a hold on me, right? I really have to look at this. And I know from my own experiences that it can be very hard to untangle your mind from like an obsession, right? And or a love that isn't healthy for you. I mean, sometimes it's like tooth and nail, just it's like everything in you just to undo this false promise that you've built up in your mind. But sometimes you have to like face the truth and see how it's something's been controlling you. It's almost like you aren't in control of your own mind. In fact, on Mount Everest, it's really interesting because a lot of those hikers, you know, the mountain's riddled with all these bodies. And a lot of them, when they're up there, because they're at this high altitude and it's so insane, you can't trust your own mind on the mountain, is what they say. So I don't think that their deaths are like really gnarly up there, because their mind sort of plays tricks on them and it can tell them to like keep going sometimes when they shouldn't. It's kind of making me think of that. It's like something else ends up taking over, like the Voldemort thing from my son's book, over your mind. Like this two-faced thing where it's like, it's hard to recognize it when it's happening here. And I've had that happen where I've had to undo beliefs that had become my whole world for years. And it's such a mind fuck. Like, I don't even have words for the mind fuck that it really is. Maybe it's made me think of my loved one with psychosis. Maybe this is like mental illness, right? Where it's like, oh my God, like what just happened? Like, I can't imagine how, you know, he must feel. It's still, I mean, it's such a mind fuck for years out of someone's life. It just feels kind of like that. It's like escaping twin flames. That would be what I would like to title your reading. I don't think I can, for so many reasons. For not just views, but maybe copyright purposes. But anyway, so your future placement. This reading's so much nicer than the first one. The first one was like 30 minutes long and really heavy. Your future placement shows this idea of like slowing down. Slowing down. You might still be kind of guarded. That's very interesting. But you're being forged through the flames here. And it's making me think about how real spirituality, when it's not leaning into spiritual bypassing or toxicity or false beliefs and stuff like that, you know, it's about accepting the nitty-gritty of life. It's about accepting the dark with the light. It is about the shadow. Slowing down and learning how to accept that spirituality, true spirituality, at least to my belief and my experiences, a difficult path. It can be isolating. It can be gritty. Like that phrase, grist for the mill. But it's so very worth it for you to start seeing clearly. But because I'm thinking that with the mirror here, and it's like you seeing something you seeing yourself clearly, and this love starts with you. It's not about this external thing outside of you, right? But I digress. My point, what was my point? Oh, in Eastern philosophy, it tends to be this more wholesome yin-yang perspective where we look at the light and the dark, right? And we accept all of it. But I can say, growing up in a Western culture and society, and especially seeing what I see in the New Age community, which reminds me of this card here, this blissed out card here, it does make me think of like spiritual bypassing, or this idea of transcending this earthen plane and the things that make it difficult, which, it's like to get to the place where there is no pain, where there is no shadow, where there is no death, right? I mean, that's what Christianity can really speak a lot about. And that's why I think people get so obsessed with this idea of like the new earth and the 5D and this place where we're all just light bodies and everything is magic and miracles all the time, and wanting to transcend this reality, because the true path to be in a human body, your soul and your body, God and man, really, like, you know, spirituality and physicality, to merge those and marry those, it's a tricky dance where we have to accept both light and dark. And it is the I want to say, even though it's even showing up here with true love, I want to say it is the true path, but I don't know what's true and what isn't true. It's just my own personal, I think, belief coming up. But it makes me think of all of these beautiful, like, Chinese ancient parables, where, right, even this pyramid here, it's showing both the light and the dark. And it's just kind of like accepting the more difficult aspects of life as part of the journey that makes it so beautiful and fulfilling. That we're not trying to abandon, like this here, ourselves and our bodies and our reality, because it's a lot easier, you know? Again, the idea of like a good therapist doesn't just like have you come in and tell you just, oh, you're so great, everything's great. It's not what I don't think a good reader does that either. I really don't, where it's like, oh, wow, your dreams are coming true. Tomorrow they're going to show up and knock on your door and you're going to win the lottery and get ready and fame and fortune. And if life was that easy, do you think it would be worth living? I don't really know. If you actually look at the story of the Buddha, he craved suffering because he had the perfect dream life. If you look at the story of Moses, it's the same thing. And I feel like this is your sort of Moses, you know, Siddhartha plight of leaving behind the, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Leaving behind the coddled, is that the right way to put it, spiritual path or life or dream or promise here, but instead to really be forged through the flames of the shadow and the light. It's as light as it is dark, it's as dark as it is light. It all ultimately leads you to this clear reflection, this true love, and it's all about slowing down, and I guess it's about accepting the reality of a situation, which really looks like, I'm probably going off into really deep philosophical talk when in actuality this is probably about a relationship that is just not, because you got the lovers here at the end, that is just not what you thought it would be. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like, right? Some kind of situation, promise, dream, relationship, ultimately isn't there's a breakthrough here where ultimately the way you are viewing something seems to have been skewed in a rose-colored glasses kind of way. But when that starts to harm you, when it starts to have power or control over you, it actually has you lack the sovereignty, and your mind can play tricks on you where you don't even realize it. Maybe for some of you this is really like narcissist empath dynamics and realizing like, wow, they really fucked me up, you know. I don't know. Who knows what this is, but your reading ends with the lovers and this muse of voices, which is you getting there in your own time. But for some reason I keep looking at this and thinking it's going to take a while for you to embrace this unknown. This keeps saying to me, this is going to take a while. This whole breakthrough with the lovers situation. Just like for myself, when I can talk about overcoming beliefs or obsessions or addictions in my past lifetime, in this lifetime, like I used to chain smoke and all these things. You know, I couldn't tell you how it happens. I can tell you that it happens naturally, slowly over time, and it's very incremental. It's like step by step, but you do get there. There is this kite. I'm hearing a kite formation. It makes me think of what people say in astrology. I don't know what that means, but I think it's positive. It's sort of like saying, okay, I open up to the true love, right? Real love, whether with another person, but really with like, that's why I think I am getting so philosophical here, is it's with yourself, it's with life. It's not this strange dynamic anymore where there's like nothing there and you're feeling everything. You know, it's weird. I mean, it's weird because I feel like it's just talking to me about how something doesn't add up, right? There's this escapist quality or tendency to it. And this is talking about, I guess, really getting present and getting back to yourself, back to your body, back to embracing the unknown, and also embracing the imperfection of the way you think things are going to go in this life. Really kind of like, it's just like these cards here. It's like there's disappointment, but then you just really learn to surrender, see things in a new way, and give it up to your creator. Right? Even here, it's a very isolating path. It can be as well, or it takes that alone time to unpack it all, right? Here you are again, walking away with this heartache, but you're looking at this new day and you're manifesting this new tomorrow, things that I think it's this clear pool of your reflection again, the clear reflection, clarity in your life and along your spiritual path as a soul, as an individual soul. Doesn't have to do with these energies outside of you so much as it has to do with your sovereignty of, well, that's it. Having to do with your sovereignty as this hermit. And what you're calling in here. And I'm going to go on over to the extended. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to go on over to the extended. The link to that will be through the Patreon at the top of the description box down below. I guess we're going to see. I mean, I'm suddenly noticing it's like we've got these I feel like these little bare feet making this pathway. I'm kind of curious where, yeah, you've got the moon too, where you're going, what this is going to end up looking like, what this breakthrough and this kindred partnership is, as you take all of this step by step to settle in to a new way of being, where the water is no longer murky, but the reflection is clear. There's something really about that, about the reflection of your own mind being clear, kind of like, you know, descending Mount Everest and then realizing, oh my God, I was about to die up there if I stayed up there for much longer. I'm so happy I came back down, or someone brought me down because my mind wanted to keep going. It's kind of like that kind of vibe. It's kind of like my loved one who's had mental illness, and it's like, now that he's on the other side of it, he can say, oh my God, thank God that someone gave me medication, you know what I mean? But not in the moment. It's like, don't give me that, don't touch me with that, you know what I mean? That's kind of what that is what it's a perfect metaphor for whatever this is, but it's just about the clarity that lies on the other side. So let's go explore that. Hopefully I'll see you over there. If not, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. I love you very much.